This is a bicycle race. The group of riders is called a peloton. By riding behind others, cyclists save energy because the air drag is lower. This is called drafting. When cycling at 32 km per hour, cyclists save about 18% of their energy by drafting, while at 40 km per hour, cyclists save about 27% of their energy by drafting behind a single cyclist, and more when they are in the midst of a large group. In this race, the cyclists are riding up a steep hill. They are pushing nearly as hard as they can, or near what we call their maximum sustainable outputs. Yet they are only moving at about 20 km per hour, and since their speeds are slower going uphill, they save less energy by drafting, even though their outputs are very high. Because all the riders have different maximum outputs, the group begins to stretch as riders approach these maximums. Some riders are obviously stronger than others, and some lose touch with the peloton. The group begins to sort, and if the hill were to continue, the whole peloton would divide into several small groups. So we can see how the average output of the cyclist in a peloton will rise and fall over the course of a race. As a result, pelotons oscillate between periods of stretching and bunching in correspondence to these changes in average output. We can model this behavior by using computer simulations. In this simulation, the numbers represent the cyclist's individual maximum sustainable outputs, all of which are different. As stronger riders drive the pace very high, weaker cyclists must slow down relative to the stronger ones, even though they are able to save energy by drafting. We can see periods when the pace increases and the peloton stretches, and then as the pace slows down, the cyclists regroup. Now let us consider for a moment where else in nature we might see this kind of behavior. One feature of peloton behavior is that it self-organizes. This means the patterns that we see emerge from simple rules of interaction like find the best position to draft, avoid colliding with your neighbors, match their speeds as best you can, and pass them if they are slowing down and if there is room to do so. When patterns emerge as groups self-organize, there are no leaders to tell the group members how they must move. This is also called bottom-up organization. This is unlike the group formations in this army troop, whose unified movements are imposed by their captain or leader. This is called top-down organization and is not self-organized. Or this dragon boat team, whose paddling rhythm is set by the boat captain. When a peloton undergoes distinct changes of behavior or changes in pattern formation, it undergoes a phase transition. This is like the phase transition we see when water turns to ice, or when water turns to steam. In addition to the stretching and bunching phases we can observe, another type of phase we see in pelotons is a kind of convection phase. We can see convection in this pan of oil. The pan is heated from below. Hot oil molecules rise from below while cooler molecules fall from near the surface. The pattern emerges from the continuous motion of hot and cool molecules. Again, using a computer simulation, we can demonstrate this convection behavior in a peloton. Triangles represent cyclists. Faster cyclists moving toward the front of the group on the peripheries are like hot cyclists. Slower ones who shift their positions backward are like cooling cyclists. So what does this tell us about other biological collectives or systems? Well, peloton behavior gives us insight into an evolutionary mechanism, the mechanism of energy savings. Pelotons show us how this mechanism results in the formation of groups. We see how collective behavior is caused by the physical capacities of individual members within the group, as well as from simple rules of interaction between members. We can then look at collectives as diverse as animal herds, or ant colonies, or schools of fish, or even human societies and their complex economic exchange, and ask such questions as, where is the energy savings mechanism? When we follow others, when we cooperate, how is energy saved, and how is the survival potential of the group affected? What patterns form from this mechanism, and can we make predictions about the behaviors of similar systems? A simple bicycle race and the behavior of a peloton gives us insight into these kinds of things. These are the lessons of the peloton.